Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Camilla. I'm a trainee solicitor, and on this channel I talk about things related to law careers, personal development and personal finance. In today's video, it's one focused towards the LPC because I know that we're in the middle of exam season and I've had a lot of questions about just how to do well on the LPC. I'm going to try and give as much sort of general advice as I can, and I thought I'd do something a bit different in today's video. I'm sure you've heard loads of people telling you what you should do in order to do well on the LPC. In this video, I'm going to tell you what you should be doing if you want to do badly on the LPC. And you might think, what? This is such a weird video, and it does sound a bit strange that I'm giving you advice about how to do badly. But I think there could be something here. I mean, reverse psychology works well. So if you hear me telling you what you should do to do badly, then you might try to rebel against my advice and do the complete opposite, which will hopefully make you succeed. Or you just might recognize some of the behaviors in some of the tips that I give you today. So if you're doing something which I say is going to make you do badly on the LPC, then you might think, okay, hang on a minute, maybe I should rethink this behavior. So it might be a bit of a controversial video in that sense, but hopefully you'll get some value from it. So let's get straight into the video. So my first tip for doing badly or failing the LPC is to start revising tomorrow. I don't care whether your exam is today, tomorrow, next month, next year. Just start revising tomorrow because, you know, you've got all the time in the world, and just do it tomorrow. And that's a surefire way to do badly on the LPC. Number 2, spend time writing out all of the notes that you need for your exam out of the textbook. Just copy out massive chunks of the textbook into your notes and then use those for the exam. It doesn't matter if other people are using pre-written legacy notes, which are distinction level, and then using their free time that they haven't spent writing notes to practice the workshop tasks and the specimen exam and to get exam ready. No, what you should be doing is spend time just writing chunks of information out of the textbook. You know, the LPC is very practical, so treating it like an academic exam instead of a practical exam is probably not the best strategy unless you want to do badly on the LPC, in which case that is what you should do. Number 3, if you want to do badly on the LPC, you shouldn't practice the specimen exam. A huge waste of time. What you should do instead is read your notes passively. Just read them, hope that it sinks in, and then go into the exam and just give it your best shot. And that's a surefire way to do badly on the LPC. Number 4, don't worry about your speed. So the LPC is very time pressured when you're in the exam. There's not a lot of time for thinking or looking for things in your notes. And so if you want to lose marks on the LPC, then a great way to do that is not worry about how fast you're going and just spend as much time as you want on each question. Just don't even look at the clock. And that's a surefire way to lose marks on the LPC. So number 5 is closely linked to number 4. My best advice, if you want to do badly on the LPC, don't work out how long you have per question. So what I did was to work out how long I need to spend on the MCQs and when I need to move on from those, and then how long I have per question, and I would write it down on a piece of paper, okay, so I've got a 20 marker, that means I need to move on at this time, and I'd be quite strict with myself in order to make sure I covered all of the questions. And that worked really well because something that one of my teachers said in a workshop really stuck with me, and that is, don't spend too long on each question. You need to make sure you at least write something for every question, and that's because it's actually quite easy to pick up marks for just writing the basics. And so if you manage to do that for every question, you've got a better chance of passing than if you spend all of your time on half the paper, because then you're not going to pick up any marks on the second half of the paper, and it's going to be much harder for you to pass. So if you want to do badly on the LPC, then just don't worry about how long you should be spending on each question. Just guess. I mean, what could go wrong, right? Number 6, don't practice any of the MCQs. Just give them a go in the exam. When I did the Wills exam, which was 100% multiple choice, I practiced the MCQs 700 times, which was a bit excessive, I'll admit. And I got 90% in the exam. So if you want to do badly, then don't practice them at all. Number 7, don't tab your textbooks. I mean, the LPC, like I've said, is very time pressured, and sometimes you'll need to look things up quickly in your textbook, especially if you get a tricky MCQ question that you weren't expecting. What I found really helpful was to have my textbook and my notes tabbed up so that I could find things within seconds. Because it's so time pressured, that helped me save a lot of time. So if you want to do badly, then don't have any of your textbooks and just spend loads of time in the exam looking for things. And yeah, that's a good way to waste a lot of time in the exams. Number 8, don't practice the workshop tasks. I mean, I've said this before in many of my other videos. The workshop tasks are probably the best indication of the types of exam questions you'll get in the real exams. So if you want to do badly, then don't practice them at all. Number 9, take advice from other people who didn't do well in the LPC exams or have never done the LPC before, because obviously they will not be able to give you the best advice. So yeah, if you want to do well, listen to people who've done well in the LPC, such as, well, anybody that you know, or people on YouTube, such as myself, who got 83%, and there's plenty of other people on the platform who've also done well. But if you want to do badly, then just listen to people who don't have the grades that you want. Number 10, hang around with people who don't take the LPC seriously or make fun of you for taking it seriously, because yeah, you are who you hang around with. So hang around with people who don't care about how well they do in order to maximize your chances of doing badly on the LPC. And number 11, listen to people who say the LPC isn't hard. I actually had a few people saying to me, oh, the LPC is really easy, it's just a tick box exercise. And to some extent, yeah, I agree, it wasn't that hard for me at some points, but it wasn't hard because I'd spent a lot of time revising and practicing. So, you know, the more effort you put into something, the easier it becomes. So I would never say that the LPC is easy. It's actually very difficult. However, if you put time in and you practice and practice and practice, like anything, it becomes easier. But there are people who out there will just kind of make fun of people or just say, oh, it's so easy, blah, blah, blah. So if you want to do badly, then just listen to people who say that the LPC is easy and don't worry about it at all. So those are my top tips for doing badly or failing the LPC. And I just wanted to add, obviously this could be a bit of a sensitive topic for some people. It's not meant to offend anyone in any way. It's just meant to be a bit of a different way of communicating advice. And so if you have got some results back that you aren't 100% happy with, then please don't worry about it, because you can retake exams on the LPC and all you need to do is pass it in order to become a solicitor. So a lot of firms anyway, not every firm, obviously I can't speak for every firm, but many firms will, all they'll require is that you've passed the LPC. And if you haven't passed one of the exams, just work really hard on passing the retake and let me know if you've got any questions. Until next time, goodbye.